So, brothers, I'm watching the Daily Wrap Up Crew, and the topic of conversation today is femininity. Brothers, what is femininity? Femininity is just that is the essence of the woman, the nature of the woman, the emanations of the woman. What is an emanation? The qualities and characteristics that make something what it is. For example, fire. What is the essence or the emanation of fire? Heat and light. What is the essence and the nature of the woman? Well, a lot of that is predicated on what the men around her allow her to do. The essence of the woman can be that of a mother, it could be that of a wife, or it could be that of a harlot, that of a prostitute, that of a Jezebel. And unfortunately, in America, predominantly, particularly, that is the nature of the woman. The nature of the woman is the nature of a harlot, a vagabond, a Jezebel, a woman that is shameless, a woman that is unsteady, a woman that is wandering, a woman that is uncovered. Anyways, let's go and tap into this.
Okay, so femininity to me is embracing the parts of me that make me a woman, traditionally, within the gender binary, whatever that means, right? Where, I feel like a lot of women do get a little bit perceived as weak for embracing those girls.
Brothers, something we have to understand is just like men have to have positive role models in their life for them to model after, women have to have positive role models in their life for them to model after. A lot of men or young boys in the black community, they only have their ghetto cousin, their ghetto uncle to model after, and they take on that nature. They take on that essence and that emanation. And the emanation of a thug, the emanation of a gang member, the emanation of those people are people that are prone to disorder, meaning they are prone to confusion. Simple as that. Same thing with our women. Their examples is their ghetto mom, their mom doing everything on their own, their mom cussing them out all day. These single mothers are stressed out, brothers. Dealing with kids on your own by yourself and you don't have a support system is stressful. A lot of these single mothers are taking their angers and their frustrations out on their kids. And it's not necessarily that they're beating them or abusing them physically. Sometimes it's verbally. Sometimes it's neglecting them, saying, look, I'm just going to wash y'all ass. I'm going to feed y'all. And after that, leave me alone. Y'all can have these tablets. Y'all can have these phones. The phone's going to raise y'all. The phones are going to babysit y'all because I don't feel like being bothered with y'all. I don't have the energy and time to deal with y'all. And a lot of this can be solved, brothers, if men had more than one wife. A lot of this could be solved if men had more than one woman. There needs to be more than one woman in some of these households. When you got 2, 3, 4 kids, it's very difficult for one person to deal with that many children, that many extra lives to feed. It would be more. It would make more sense for a lot of these households to have maybe 2 women in it, and the man being a presider over that situation, meaning he's the head of the household and he's providing financially. Just putting my thoughts out there, though.
Girl aspects of themselves, the nurturing aspect, the devotion, the love, the nurturing, However, when you choose to be feminine, you choose to stand proud in your femininity, you do not let anything wave you.
Once again, brothers, femininity and masculinity, there are no real definitions for these things. There is no real etymology for these words. It's a matter of what the women around you are teaching you and showing you, and what the men around you are teaching you and showing you. That's what's going to determine femininity. If men are getting whores pregnant, if men are getting Jezebels pregnant, that's what the definition and the standard of femininity is going to shift towards. That's the reality of it. The most important thing is that we do not get those women pregnant. If you want to engage in copulation with a woman that is a quote unquote whore, a quote unquote harlot, then that's on you. That's on you. You have to make the discernment and discretion to decide if that's what you want to do.
You do not waver for that that, that negative energy, that anything that goes against your femininity, do not let that pull you into that masculine space. Because once you operate outside of your feminine space, you will really not get what you want as a woman.
Literally.
Like, that's what I have seen.
But see, brothers, that's not accurate. That's not true. The vast majority of women are spoiled brats. The vast majority of women are not used to or accustomed to being told no. They don't know what the word no means. They don't think that that's something they're ever supposed to hear. This is an issue. This is a problem. The woman is essentially, quite literally, in the black community at the state of a badass kid. That's how they act, because the men in charge are not raising them properly. The men in charge are not presiding over them properly. And a lot of this is not going to go away until a lot of the government assistance goes away and other things take place in which the woman is forced to bow down to the authority of the man. The woman is not going to do it willingly in mass. It's going to have to be something that forces her to do that. And that's really how it's always been. It's always been based in necessity.
Time and time again. And back to what you said about more masculine women, like, here's the thing. I feel like for black women, we have to give black women a lot of grace when it comes to this. We have to give black women grace when it comes to not maybe being able to perform femininity the best way that's possible. You have to think about where we...
Yes, you do have to give the so-called black woman a level of grace. And what grace means essentially is just patience. You have to give her some type of patience, and you have to understand that the majority of the so-called black women that you're going to meet out here, they're going to be hurt. They're going to be broken. They're going to be damaged. You're not dealing with a fully stable creature. You're not dealing with a person that is healed 100%. You're dealing with a person that is somewhat diseased and sickly because of the life that they've lived and because of the things that they've seen, especially if you're living in one of the ghettos or the hoods across America. The Detroits, the Baltimores, the Phillies, the Little Rock, Arkansas, the Milwaukees, the Chicagos, the Comptons, so on and so forth, all these different ghetto cities and many, many more. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, just the whole state of Mississippi, parts of Florida. There's a lot of ghetto culture. Atlanta, parts of South Carolina, North Carolina, Charlotte. There's ghetto places all throughout America, hood ass places all throughout America, where if you go into those cities, you're going to encounter women that are abused mentally, physically, and probably sexually, going back to their childhood.
come from. And you have to think about our history. We've had our fathers ripped out of our homes for the last 300 years. We've had...
Brothers, that's more so a false narrative. A lot of these fathers, they saw your mom had a fat ass, or your dad was drunk one night, or your dad just wanted some cooter cat one night. He saw your mom, he hit your mom up, your mom responded to his text, and she came over, or he went over there, beat her doonies down, didn't pull out, now you here. That's the reality of what happened. He never liked your mom never liked your dad. They never were really in a real relationship, probably prior to you being conceived. This was all an accident. You were created by happenstance. They had no clue as to how they were going to raise a child. And the reason why you don't have a clue as to how you're going to raise a child is because the so-called black community doesn't have the cultural framework in play for a child to properly assimilate into. There is no cultural framework in the black community for the child to assimilate into. You send your child to a predominantly black school, a public school, in any of these said hoods or ghettos across America. What's going to occur is your child is going to be prone to disorder, dysfunction, and they're going to be fighting. They're going to be talking with slang. They're going to be taught to speak illiterately. They're not going to be allowed to express themselves in a quote unquote intellectual way. They're not going to have, they're going to be castigated for demonstrating knowledge, wisdom, understanding, judgment, discernment, discretion, decorum, respect, manners. If your child is raised right in the black community, your child is punished for that. In the so-called black community, Donovan Mitchell, I just watched one of his interviews. He brung it up that if you are a child raised in the so-called black community in a two-parent home, It's similar to being a biracial child almost. It's like being a biracial child being raised in the so-called black community coming from a two-parent home, because the majority of black kids don't come from that. So they look at you as privileged. They look at you as privileged. So you're an outcast amongst your people. This is the community we're living in. We're living in a community where if you come from a two-parent home, you are viewed as spoiled and privileged.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so our mothers become our fathers. Our mothers become, and
Your mother can never become your father. For one, your mom sits down when she pees. And brothers, that's something you have to understand when you're dealing with the woman. The woman sits down when she pees. The woman bends over when you hitting it from the back. I'm being I'm being a bit vulgar, but I'm getting pitting to the point that the woman is not a dominant creature. Her essence, her nature, that's femininity right there. The essence of femininity is sitting down when you pee. The essence of masculinity is standing up when you pee. The essence of femininity is being a receiver. The essence of masculinity is being a giver. The essence of femininity is being penetrated. The essence of masculinity is doing the penetrating. There's a big difference here. There is no equality in these things. There's a cause and effect relationship with the woman and the man. I need you for this. You need me for that. We are here for that. That's what it is. That's what everything is about. Cause and effect, complementary.
that's generational trauma that we're breeding. Okay, there are women. I have aunts who are.
You know, brothers, a lot of people talk about the problems we have when it comes to generational traumas and slavery and this and that. Brothers, you know what fixes all that and offsets all that and nullifies and destroys all of that trauma? Knowledge. The problem is people lack knowledge. Because people lack knowledge, they cannot overcome those traumas. You have to have knowledge. People are not becoming knowledgeable. People are not inclined to knowledge and understanding. People are on their phone entirely too much. Niggas are on playing the video game entirely too much. Niggas are not perceptive enough. Niggas are not modeling their life around knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Therefore, the so-called black woman sees the so-called black man as an ignorant man. That's the reality of it, meaning you don't know shit. That's how the so-called black woman looks at you, brothers. Not all of us. Some of us know things. A good sizable percentage of us know things. But the reality is when they come across so many niggas that are ignorant and don't know things, can't articulate themselves, and are not reading at a proficient level, this is the issue. Are the way we are viewed. There are prejudices even amongst our own. There are stereotypes that we still allow to exist. There's a lot of so-called black men that have to be upgraded or they have to be put out of commission.
Literally supporting like their entire. They got 3 kids, the same man, but that man. I don't know. I really don't know what happened to my uncle, to be honest. But it's like a family thing. But you know, you can call her masculine, but really she's surviving. That's how you survive.
Brothers, the vast majority of these women are single mothers by choice. Their choice. They're single mothers by choice. That's what we have to understand. They're making the choice to be a single mother. They choose to push the man away. The woman has been imbued with a praying mantis mentality. She has been programmed with a black widow mentality. The so-called black woman, the woman in general in America is a praying mantis and a black widow. She is trying to get all these checks. The woman has a checklist, brothers. Okay, by this age, I want to get married. She gets you to marry her. Now, I want a house. Now we need to get a house. I want a house. I want my kid. I want a house. I want a house. You get her the house. Okay. I don't like this carpet. I want us to pull it up. I don't like this cabinet. Okay, I want a new car. Okay, I want us to take a trip together as a family. I want us to go on vacation. The woman is constantly going to be seeking for new things to feel her to thrill and chase all the time. She's constantly going to be looking for new things. She's never going to be satisfied with life. So if you are trying to appease a woman, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be stressed out. Understand the headache that comes with the woman. And the number one thing that you're going to have a headache with when it comes to the woman is money. If you do not have your finances in order, if you do not have your money in order, if you do not have your shit together financially, you should not be in a real relationship. Period. If you do not have a job or a career, you should not be in a relationship. You should not. You need to be focusing on getting your money right. Because when you get into a relationship, a woman is going to have needs. That's simply what comes with the woman. You have to do things for the woman. You have to upkeep your woman. You have to take your woman out sometimes. You have to provide for your woman. Your woman needs to know that there's a certain amount of money in the bank account so that if things happen, the car gets broke down, y'all can get another car. If the tires need to be replaced, y'all can get new tires. If something is, we need this, we need that, we need to move there, we need to make things happen, you have money. And that's going to give you the confidence you need to handle situations. That's going to lead to the woman respecting you because you have money. People only respect power. Money represents power. You need to have a certain amount of money saved up for a rainy day. You never know. You might lose your job. You might get fired from your job. Your job might lay you off. Things happen. You might get into an injury. Are there plans in place at your employer that if you do get hurt on the job, you are protected? These are things that need to be going through your minds, brother, before you even think about getting a woman. A lot of niggas just want to get a woman. They want to just have something to find to look at. They want someone to just be around. I get it. But a woman is a burden for the most part. A woman is going to come into your life and she's going to suck up all your resources. That's what she's looking to do. The woman is not coming into your life looking to add value to your life. She's coming into your life saying to yourself, what can I get out of this nigga? From the moment she meets you, from the moment you start talking to her, you think you're running game on her. She's running game right back on you.
So give black women grace when it comes to that.
I hear you, but at the same time, these same mothers are also raising their sons to disrespect women.
That's a very great point. Brothers, we got to be more active in our children's lives. That's the reality of it. Because the woman has her gifts. The woman's gift is nurturing. The woman's gift is that loving spirit. She's able to nurture and nurse child to health once they're born and things of that nature. But once that child starts walking and talking, from that point on, you need to be you need to be active and very attentive to everything that's going on. Like, for example, a child is 1 year old and they're expressing interest in going up the stairs. They want to start walking up the stairs and climbing the stairs. The mother is probably going to say, oh, no, I don't want her playing on that stairs. I don't want him playing on them stairs. I don't want him to get hurt. You as a father have to step in and say, no, they're going to learn how to climb these stairs. That's important for that next stage of their development. They're showing interest in something. You have to let them do it. You have to let them grow. Now, by the time they're 2 years old, they're already proficient at walking up and down the stairs. They already know how to go up and down the stairs. By the time they're 3, they're great at it. Little things like that just lead to development in a child. A child will start throwing temper tantrums at 1 year old. Mommy wants to pick the child up because they don't want the child. The child is crying all the time. No, put that child in the corner every time that child throws a temper tantrum, because you need to know that having a temper tantrum, that is not appropriate. You falling out like that and crying is not appropriate. See, a lot of children that have temper tantrums out in public and at the stores, they have temper tantrums at home as well. What happens in the home trickles over into the outside world.
And accept it. I mean, we don't want to talk about that part, but men are players, and their mom's gonna stand beside them.
Yeah.
So at the same time,
Brothers, we are all players. We are all players. In order to be a player, you're a part of a game. We're all playing this game, this dating game. That's what we're doing. We're playing this life game, this game of life. We're all players, and we're all trying to win.
give them grace, but the same men that are terrorizing, the younger generation of women are created by their mothers who's cheering them on.
Of course.
Brothers, the reality is the reason why these women are getting their heart broken is because there is no real institution or proper institution set up for marriage. The proper institution that is set up for marriage is when your father picks the husband for the daughter. Simple as that. If you have daughters out there, if I have a daughter, I'm going to tell her, look, if you want to know if a man is right for you, bring him to me. Before you lay down carnally with a man, bring him to me. If you're fine, you have strong feelings for a man, bring him to me. And I approve of him. I'll let you know off the rip if that's the man for you or not. Oftentimes, brothers, you could bring a woman to your mother, and your mother will be able to tell you if that is the woman for you or not, because she knows you. You are her son, and she knows you. She'll be able to recognize that immediately. Same thing that I, as a father, I'll be able to look at a man and say, okay, that is the man for you.
Let's take it back. Let's take it back again, right? Let's take it back again. If that boy would have then had a father to offset what his mother was doing, or to show him and give him an example, like, here's the thing. But when a girl is raised by her father and she's a tomboy, are we surprised?
I'm a tomboy.
We're not that surprised.
There's nothing necessarily wrong with girls having a little bit of that tomboy demeanor in them. If they're around their father a lot, they probably have a lot of brothers. They may have a little bit of tomboy in them. They might like playing games. They might like watching football and basketball. Being a tomboy does not necessarily mean that that girl is going to be a stud or a dyke lesbian. That does not necessarily mean that. But we got to understand something, brothers. You have to make sure that your daughter is being raised with an understanding of the feminine frame. She cannot be raised too much with the masculine frame. A lot of brothers do make their daughters the son they never had. You got to be careful with that. Got to be careful with that. You can't raise your daughter like your daughter is your son. You still got to understand, you got to be hard on your daughter. You have to be very careful in making sure that you chastise your daughter and that you raise her a certain way, and you make sure that you bow down their neck from thy youth, as the scriptures tell us in Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter. You got to do all that. But at the same time, you have to also be a bit softer with your daughter. You have to be nurturing with your daughter, because that is a girl at the end of the day. You have to make sure that you don't make her too hard.
Are we?
No.
So when a man is raised solely by his mother and he cannot regulate his emotions as a man, and his emotional, like the emotional.
Yes, brothers, that's what the hood nigga is. That's what the gang nigga is. That's what the trap nigga is a lot of times. It's a nigga that can't process his feelings and his emotions. It's not that these niggas are tough. It's not that these niggas can fight. It's not that these niggas are scary. It's the fact that these niggas are volatile, dangerous, and explosive because they don't give a damn. They are essentially on their period all the time. These niggas are on edge all the time. These niggas are very impulsive. If you make them, they're very quick to being angered. A nigga that is quick to turn to wrath. These types of niggas, those niggas are detrimental to society. They got to be put out of commission.
You know what I'm saying? Why are we then putting the blame on the mother when really, where did the father go to teach this boy where to be a man, how to be a man? Let's take it all the way back.
Brothers, people try to make it seem as though being these complicated answers to what a man is a protector and a provider. The number one thing that makes you feel like a man is being able to provide for your family and being able to protect your family. Simple as that. If there's danger, I'm able to protect my family. That's what makes me feel like a man. I'm able to make sure my family got a roof over their head, water, food, shelter, heat in the winter. And brothers, protecting your woman or protecting your family is not always protecting them from immediate danger like violence or a house fire. Sometimes it's being able to see things before it happens, being able to think 2-3 steps ahead, saving your woman from herself, being very proactive rather than reactive so that you don't even have to get to that point. A wise person is not going to make their life harder. They're going to look to make their life easier. So they're not going to put their life in situations or positions where that ever has to happen, where they have to do anything volatile or make this split second decision that could end up really harming them, or I have to put my life on the line to defend my family.
Don't just put it on black single mothers who literally had no choice but to raise that child by themselves. They had no choice.
No, I mean, I'm not going to put it on the single mother. I'm going to put it on us, because at the end of the day, I already understand what women are at this point. The woman is supposed to be under subjection to you. That's the reality of it. You are the one that carry life between your legs all the time. You carry life all the time as a man. That's what we do. We have to understand that. We have to understand the power that we have swimming between our scrotum and our glands inside of our scrotum that secrete seminal fluid, our testicles. We have to be very careful. We have to be aware of the fact that we are the ones that create life. We are the ones that initiate life. The woman gestates our seed. The woman takes our seed and she gives us a child. It grows inside the woman. The woman is the soil, but we are the planter. You cannot plant in every type of soil. You got to make sure the soil is right. You got to make sure the ground is not cursed. Simple as that. And for the most part, I'm not talking to grown men. The message has to be to the younger men. Your message has to be to those boys that are 16, 17, 18, 14, 13, 20 that haven't made these mistakes yet. The brothers that are 8, 9 years old, you got to get them. That's where it starts. You got to be able to influence the youth. We got to be able to influence the younger dude, the younger bros, the younger brothers. That's where it starts, because the older men, they are what they are. We got to think generations down the line. The problems in the black community could be gone away within the next 2 to 3 generations, but we have to start with the youth.
How you gonna blame them? They doing it the best.
Still have to take
They doing it the best they know how.
The person in my life who told me not to share my emotions or express my emotions was a black woman. Every time I cried, yo, don't cry. Every time I did anything, that was a black woman.
Brothers, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. We going into a different segment now. But in general, when it comes to the topic of sharing your emotions and your feelings with a woman, you don't share your emotions and your feelings with a woman, because your woman is not your therapist. That is not what your woman is. Your woman, yes, you at points and times, you will confide in her. You do need to confide in her. She's someone you can come to for support and love and compassion and care at times. But in general, your woman is not your mother. Your woman is not your mother. Do not confuse or make the false assumption that the woman is your mother. She is not your mother. She does not love you like your mother. She does not love you unconditionally. That's something you have to understand. The women in this society, they do not love their men unconditionally. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, those women, they loved their men unconditionally, not because, it's something they felt, but it's because what love truly is what you do when you don't feel like doing it. Love is something you do when you don't feel like loving. I don't feel like loving you. I don't feel like getting up to change your diaper at 2:00 in the morning as my child. Or I don't feel like running out to the store for my woman at 3:00 in the morning because she's not feeling good. She needs some medicine. I don't feel like going downstairs to get my girl this water. I don't feel like picking you up from work today, but I'm going to do it. Love is the kind acts that you do that you don't feel like doing. My parents always told me that if you're not doing someone a favor unless you run going out of your way. That's what love is, when you go out of your way for someone. When you're constantly, it requires some level of sacrifice. It requires some level of pushback. Simple as that. If there's no resistance, then that's not love. Anyways, brothers, I think we get the point. I'm going to end that.